All right. Oh, and I'm Thomas of Everywhere and Nowhere. And now we go over to Catherine Ann for our attunement.
So I may need to move to a different room after we do this, just to let you know.
Okay.
Anyway, uh,
Okay.
okay. So just close your eyes and center yourself in your physicality, asking all of your cells in your DNA to welcome you as a multidimensional being. For all of you, your DNA, your cells, your organs, they are all multidimensional as well. And ask all parts of you to align with your I am presence, with the Magdalene Christ that you are, and with the ascended beings that are in our midst, including Yeshua, Anna, Mother Mary, Buddha, and many others. They are here to assist us, not only to remember, but to assist us in our own ascension process. So allow all parts of you to align with them and with the ascension wave that is taking place upon the planet, knowing that we are the midwives of this ascension wave, along with those from the other side and those who have already accomplished this, who are here to assist us. Sending gratitude and thanks to them and to your own self, to all of your bodies, to all of your cells, to all of your dimensional DNA for participating. So be it.
Mhm. Thank you, Catherine Ann, for bringing in our multi-dimensional selves. Yeah, have that all present. Hey, before you leave, Catherine Ann, we're in chapter 23, and let's check in with you about how you would pronounce that word. I know we don't want to get into right and wrong, but can you give us how you pronounce her name? I don't want to say it. We're talking about the daughter of Yeshua and Mary of
Sar'h?
Bethany.
We pronounce it Sar'h.
Okay, thank you. That's what I heard too. So just to have that out there.
Okay,
Sorry. Yeah,
because it's
thank you.
not really another A in there to make it Sar'h.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how Claire and I have pronounced it always.
Okay,
Is yeah.
perfect. Perfect. Thank you, thank you. All right. Chapter 23, page 276 in this book. And maybe somebody with the older version can give a page number.
263.
Thank you, 263. And we're going to start where we left off. We're not going to go backwards or anything this time. It's Catherine Ann asking the question, have you been participating? Welcome, Kamos. So glad to have you tonight. And welcome, Stephanie of the Dove. So glad you're here tonight also. All right. Okay, raise your hand if you're not there yet, and we have plenty of time to get everybody on the right page.
It's page 265.
On the older version? Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. All right then. So, top of my screen is Christina. If you don't mind starting us off, just take us a couple of solid paragraphs in.
Okay, thank you. Hello,
Mhm.
everyone. Catherine Ann, Have you been participating with the Magdalenes who trained the young maidens in Avalon? Sar'h. I have been introduced to some of their ways. We have received training from wise ones who have been a part of this community from their very first breath, as well as from other teachers who arrived here later in life. Many of the women and children are curious about me. They like to listen to the things I have to share about my journeys. With some of the people, I feel quite guarded. I have a certain knowing that I can share some things with certain ones, and some things I must hold very close to my heart. I was born in Egypt and lived there for almost 2 years. Then we moved to the mountains of southern Gaul and the Essene Monastery near Mount Bucharach. We lived there for over 5 years. Even though I was very young, I feel more of an affinity with the places we visited near the Great Sea than I do with this cold, dark land. My heart sinks more easily in places where the sun shines a lot. I desire to return someday to those places where I remembered being warm. They were filled with the light and beautiful flowers. But I will go wherever I am called to serve. That is a certainty.
All right.
I relate to that one. My heart sings in the sun.
There you go. Yeah,
Oh,
I agree. That cold, wet stuff doesn't work for me either. All right. Anything underlined or anything highlighted to be shared? It kind of strikes me as funny. It says I was born in Egypt and lived there almost 2 years. So it's interesting that what we call the dispersion, correct me if I'm wrong, but really it was 2 years before they actually got chased out of there. That seems like a long time. Does that sound right? 2 years before they left on that boat without the oars, and is that right? Does that sound right? Seems like a long time, doesn't it? Catherine Ann's not here right now to help me out here. So Sar'h was born in Egypt, though. Yeah.
The dispersion you're talking about began right after that great gathering. So we would say the one you're talking about started in 56 AD. I think they just meant in general. They were dispersing. But the great dispersion was 56 AD, right on their way back from the great gathering of 55 AD, the one where Anna got hurt.
Oh, wow. So what do we call it when they left in that boat without the oars and without the mast? How long do you think that was after the resurrection? Any guesses?
I think that wasn't long afterwards, but
that's kind of what I was thinking, like a month or two, maybe.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused about her living in Egypt for 2 years. But anyways, I guess, yeah, go ahead, Glad.
Well, it seems to me that it's probably even longer than 2 years since the resurrection, because she had to grow a little bit since the Last Supper was when she was conceived, if I remember correctly. So there was 9 months there, and then which would include the time that they traveled to Egypt, I guess, afterwards, and then 2 years after that. So anyway, that's just me calculating. So
cool.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, good. Janet, hey.
Hi, everyone. If I've got it right, Sar'h was born just out of Alexandria, which is, of course, on the coast. So when we go on our tours, we're actually stopping at her birthplace. So it's known to be a lake that it's on the way to Alexandria. So it's not in Cairo, not anywhere near the pyramids. It's right up near the Mediterranean Sea, just near Alexandria.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. All right. If there isn't any more comments, we will move on. Okay, good. Charlotte.
Hi. Oh,
Hi.
yeah, very good. I really resonated with that line, the last line of the first paragraph that says, with some people, I feel quite guarded. I have a certain knowing that I can share some things with certain ones, and some things I must hold very close to my heart. Yeah, that really resonated with me. Some things are safe and some things are not safe, depending on the audience.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they project onto her like she might be special or might, so she's probably guarding sometimes. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Thank you, Charlotte. Anybody else? All right. Let's go ahead and continue reading. Catherine Ann, are you settled? You'd be next on the screen. Not quite yet. You don't have your headphones on.
No, I don't. I'm not using my headphones. Can you
Oh,
hear me okay?
yes. Oh, and by the way, can you guys hear me today, right now? I want to tell you
Yeah.
something. Someone told me go to the audio arrow, go, and then click it, go to audio settings and make sure the output and the input are on full. And that seems to be the problem.
Mm.
Seems to be the answers, just so everyone knows. Finally, right after 2 years.
Yep. Well, because I was having such a hard time with my computer stuff, I finally ordered a webcam that also is a speaker and a microphone. So that's why I think you can see and hear me now, where it was
Yeah.
difficult before. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really clear right now. Really, really coming in good.
Yeah. Yeah. And
All
I had
right.
to move rooms because my friend that I'm staying with was on the phone and has a call, and now that I'm not on the headset, we were interfering with each other.
You're back in Phoenix then right now, right?
Yep. Sun
Okay.
City. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Until I come to your place.
Yeah. After the call, we can talk about that. We can stay on and talk about a few
Okay,
things.
sure.
Like if you're still doing the recordings, right? I recorded the last two last week in
Oh,
case you
great.
want to transfer them. We'll talk about
Okay.
that after the
Yeah, I
class.
can help you do that. Sure.
Okay. All right. So, Catherine Ann, if you don't mind reading, we're at there are difficulties, and give us 2 paragraphs, please.
In chapter 23.
Yeah, must be near page 276. It starts off,
Is that the old book?
oh, that's the new book. You're on the old book.
Yeah.
263 is where we started, 263.
At the beginning of the chapter, right?
No, actually, it's about 15 paragraphs in.
Okay.
263 is what someone said.
That's what
And
I said, but I thought we were starting at the beginning of the chapter. So it's probably later than that.
Mari
two,
said it was 265.
okay.
Okay.
I heard her correctly.
And the paragraph
Okay.
starts off, there are difficulties.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. There are difficulties here with the Romans, just like we experienced in Gaul. The soldiers were not here when we first arrived, but they invaded Britain 4 years ago. I myself have seen them. I try to put them and the troubling stories I hear out of my mind. Being in deep meditation and serving in all the ways I can in our community help me to be calm and at peace. I treasure the extended moments of serenity I have in nature. Mother Earth calls me to go into her caves and drink from her streams. She beckons me to climb the hilltop and sit among the groves of trees. The ancient ones speak to me through the mists. I visit the places where the druids meet and feel their presence after they are gone. There are patterns of energy imprinted into the stones, oaks, and holy wells, which I read as easily as the inscribed words great-grandma Mama Anna writes. Fewer and fewer of the local druids are openly gathering these days. It is known that the Romans are aware of the druids' power. They are more concerned about the druids' persuasive ability to encourage resistance against the Emperor Claudius, who would take away our freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see what comes up. Anything highlighted here? Some good stuff in these two paragraphs. So I'm glad Stephanie is here because Stephanie and I were part of the France tour, and we went into the cave, Saint Baume. I'm just going to read the first sentence of the second paragraph. It says, Mother Earth calls me to go into her caves and drink from her streams. So in this cave that we went to in part of the tour, there was a stream running through the back of the cave. I mean, really, the whole pool of water and dripping water, drinking water, along with Mary Bethany's like workplace. And of course, the Catholic Church took over and made an altar too. But anyway, there's a cave with water in it. So go figure. There's water in caves, drinking from the streams. All right, that's my little story there. Anybody else have a story? We're probably going to reread that part of that second paragraph. Let's talk about it first, and then we'll reread it.
Hey.
Yeah, Christina.
Yeah.
Waving.
I forgot the other hand. Anyway, I really appreciate her ability to meditate or relax and feel and hear all that is going on and all the messages that are being sent through Mother Nature. I loved how she's reading the words of Anna imprinted in the rocks. I mean, that's just, and you have I have had those experiences out in nature where I'm so connected and everything is alive and has something to say or something to offer. You feel the energy and the total connection to everything. And that comes from the power of nature as well as, our connection in spirit. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Christina, for saying that nature is alive when we can slow down to feel it. Yeah, especially. I mean, it's always alive. Sometimes it goes right past us. Okay, thank you. And let's go on over to Glad. You were unmuted and now you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. I too was attracted to the sentence that says there are patterns of energy imprinted into the stones, the oaks, and the holy wells, which I read as easily as the inscribed words great-grandmother Anna writes. And having just come back from that area and able to wander through so many different sacred sites, I can honestly say, to say nothing of the crop circles, to say nothing about, that there is really a true experience just to stand there and become aware of those patterns of energy. And they've been clearly there for centuries and centuries and centuries. Like I'm thinking particularly, and I know Stephanie's listening today, but particularly St. Nectarine's glen, which was an extraordinary walk up alongside of a stream, and then ending up in this beautiful waterfall that we watched that felt like a fairyland. And there's just so much communication in these sites that, you can't help but remember all of this in your own bones somehow. So thank you very much. That was my comment.
Thank you. Glad. Yeah. Feeling the patterns. They're alive. Like Christina was saying about nature. Yeah, we're going to reread that again after everyone shares. Thank you, Glad. Charla.
I love that you said that, Glad, because that was going to be my comment. I didn't receive these words in my head, in my brain. I felt them in my bones. Like this memory that is so real and so visceral and so accessible to all of us because we all have this in our soul, and it's accessible now, and it's profoundly rebalancing and healing when we remember. We don't have to reach outside of ourselves for it. We carry it in our blood and in our bones. And as we read those first, I don't know, however many sentences of that paragraph, it's like my bones activated, and I just think it's the most profound thing not to think but to feel. So I just love the way she put that, because it doesn't matter where we are on this magnificent planet. Every leaf holds a frequency, every grain of sand, every bird song, everything is imbued with this wisdom of the ancient memories that our souls carry in. I feel really moved.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte. That moves us. And I appreciate that you have those subtle energies that can connect like that. Wow, I really appreciate that you can do that. I really feel it. Well, thank you for doing it for me. All right, let's go over to Kamari.
I think this is a good time to reiterate what we all heard recently. Catherine Ann has turned this project over, and the whole time she's telling me about it, I'm thinking, oh, some Hollywood big shot, she's going to destroy it. Yet we've heard that Dagny has been inspired to go over and do exactly this. She is going for months. She was told to lie down in the grass in these different places. That I find that very encouraging. She's doing exactly what this is pointing out. She's going to be imbibing these rich energies from all of these places. I shared it after the meeting, but I guess a lot of people didn't hear it. And Catherine Ann was there. Catherine Ann, we showed that excerpt from Stargate Experience when you and Dagny were on that day. And I showed it at the end of one of the meetings. And she showed a picture of where she's been inspired to go. Has she left us yet?
Yes, she's actually at St. Baume right now.
Thought so. It's so fitting that we're reading this. Yeah. It just always seems to be coming together. So I thought it'd be a good time to just repeat it, since many of us had heard it, but perhaps not everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kamari. I did not know that, so thank you for informing me. And Catherine Ann, did you have some comments on that before we go over to Christina?
No, I was just going to tell you all that Dagny left for France a couple days on the 23rd, and she is at St. Baume right now. Wow. So, yeah.
Wow. So she's really getting into it.
Well, she just felt so drawn to go, and then she's going to spend almost 2 months in Glastonbury. She was just going to be in France for like a week or so. And then she's going to England to spend the rest of the time in Glastonbury. And she felt like she couldn't really move forward with the script until she went to these places.
Wow.
That's what she's doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that she's that involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Energetically involved,
yes.
Not just
yeah.
production wise. Wow. Mm. Stephanie has a note for us here in the chat. Yeah, that is really encouraging to know that Dagny's going there. Wow. That's very hopeful that the project's going that direction, in an energetic direction. Very cool. All right, let's go on over to Christina.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to when Charlotte was talking about the energies of connectivity. I mean, when you're feeling that, when you're in nature and feeling all that energy, it's that love energy that raises our frequency. I believe it raises our frequency. And when we are in union with that, we have the power to lift the veils that obscure the light. And in the lifting of the veil is that incredible light that we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, lifting of those veils. Thank you for that. Yeah. Does somebody understand Stephanie's message here? Charlotte, do you understand? It says the ripples in the water was speaking to me today in the high mountains, Sar'h, Nevadas. I don't know what's going on there, but okay.
I know
All right.
she's camping for 4
Okay.
or 5 days
She's over there.
in the Sierras. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I don't know whether she's speaking of the ripples in my water or probably the behind me, or whether she's seeing her own where she is. But I
Okay.
can say that standing, or actually I was sitting looking at the scene behind me
Yeah.
when I was away last week with my son. This is in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming, and it has that same effect. It's magical. This is Jenny Lake here, and it has that same effect with the Tetons just to the left of what you can see there, and it is extraordinary spot to be in and feel the majesty and the presence of these patterns of energy that we're talking about. It's truly, truly magical. So, yeah.
Thank you. Feel the majesty. Nice. Well, that sounds really current shot for you. Glad that's just current, like last week. You're visiting your son in Jackson Hole. Nice. All right. Kamari, is that an old hand or is that new?
Well, it's old, but I will mention, it seems to me what Stephanie's telling us is she's reading along and she too feels the energy in the nature around her. For her, it maybe isn't a rock, but it's the ripples in the water speaking to her, just like what we just read. And I think that's her way of letting us know she's reading right along.
Beautiful. Perfect. Thank you, Kamari. That's really what I wanted to understand. Thank you. All right, let's go on over to Charlotte.
Yeah, I was going to say the water is what unites us all. So those ripples, those memories are in the water that is within all of us. As the water activates, we activate.
Yeah, being as we're like some 90% water. Water of life. Wow, thank you. Oh, and Jan Dieter.
Listening to something today from one of the galactics, and they were talking about as we connect with nature, it's important to remember that what we see outside is a reflection of what is within us, and to go into that space within our heart space. And that is very important in the month of August, to spend time in our heart space and let it expand and expand and expand. And of course, nature's the way I think that helps us do that. But I think, that's where I want to land actually, is in my heart space. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, landing in our heart space. Nice. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, if that's it for comments, let's go back to some reading. That would be Dominique. And Dominique, if you could reread that last paragraph now that we've opened it up a bit. Let's hear from.
Thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
Is this like Mother Earth's call,
Yeah.
or yes?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And okay.
Yeah.
And I stop before Catherine Ann.
I think go ahead on to Catherine Ann and then Sar'h one paragraph more.
Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Mother Earth called me to go into a cave and drink from her stream. She beckoned me to climb the hilltop and sit amongst the grove of trees. The Ancient One speak to me through the mist. I visit the places where the Druid meet and feel of their presence after they are gone. There are patterns of energy imprinted into the stone, the oaks and holy wells, which I read as easily as the inscribed word Great Grandmama Anna writes. Fewer and fewer of the local Druid are openly gathering these days. It is known that the Romans are aware of the Druid power. They are most concerned about the Druid's persuasive ability to encourage resistance against the Emperor Claudius, who would take away their freedom. What is it like, Catherine Ann? What is it like when you are with your parents and younger sister? Sar'h, mostly I am with my extended family within the monastery of our Essene Druid community. But sometimes I get to be alone with my mother and sister. Lisbeth has passed through her coming of age ceremony, and we get to live in the same dormitory set apart for the young and the unmarried maiden. In the time we get to be alone together, my mother, sister, and I comfort each other with singing and holding each other close. Sometimes we light an oil lamp and gather around it. We join hands and we sing, and we attune to a greater light. It's what you would call God. Talking about joining hands like this, in the last weeks, I've been very interested in some French podcast, and one, it was about the lady Lilou. She's very famous. She has interviewed tons, infinite interview for decades with the most beautiful soul in the planet. And at one point she was living in Sedona, but she's from France. She's from, in fact, the place where there is fire right now, where they are very protected. I think the fire is not on them, but it's super, super protected, and hopefully rainy, wet right now. We pray. But Lilou was interviewing this beautiful lady who has been receiving an immense connection with Marie Madeleine years ago. And she's Italian, and it's happened. And she told the whole story. I cannot tell you to look at it, even though it's magnificent. It was in French. It was in Italian, but translated in French. I don't know. But my memory doesn't always respond. So right at this moment, I don't have the name of this lady, but I will be happy to let you know next week. And she feel like this is this is absolutely the core. This is absolutely the real thing. She is so beautiful, and she went on and on and on about her experience with Marie Madeleine, and now for decades she has been gathering, and she has books, and I tried to buy the book, but $50 from the French to have $25 just shipment. I'm not going there, but it's the best. But I just want to be short now and tell you one of the things that she reminded me, and that brought me back with glad, because she said, for me, when I do my end, it's because I receive thy peace, I receive thy protection, thy presence. But to her, this is masculine and the divine masculine and divine feminine together. This is a union. So I just wanted to share this today.
Wow, thank you, Dominique. Let's just feel that for a second. Divine masculine, divine feminine coming together. Mm. Mm. Thank you, Dominique. And Dominique, I think that all came from this one or two sentences I'm going to reread. In the times we are alone together, my mother, sister, and I comfort each other with singing and holding each other close. Sometimes we light an oil lamp and gather around it. We join hands, we sing, and we attune to a greater light. Wow.
I start crying when I heard this. I did. And nice. Today I saw my mother. Absolutely. He came in a meditation, and I saw my mother completely covered with transparent gold. And it was amazing. And then another veil, and she was in a transparent white. And then I don't tell you what happened because he was so wild and so fabulous. But it's about how much she's there and how much she she gave me all the freedoms I can dream about in her presence. Yes.
Wow. Wow, Dominique. So it's only been a week or a little over a week since your mother
Yeah.
passed, and
The
she's
the
visiting you.
funeral was last Friday, and she passed the Friday before. Yes.
Oh, all
Yes.
right.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. That's beautiful. Doesn't it seem like the first week or two they're more available? I don't know. I hear stories like this the first week or two after they transition. Oh, Dominique, thank you for sharing that.
Oh,
Wow. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's go on over to Jan.
Now, Thomas, I have heard that they're more available to us not long after they pass, and that they are allowed to come and attend their funeral if they so choose.
Hmm. Interesting.
So remember, free will universe, they don't have to come, but if they choose to, they have
Nice.
that option.
Cool. Yeah. Wow. I love that. Thank you. Hmm. All right. Anything else on those few paragraphs? Hmm. All right. Okay, then let's go on to some reading. Rita, you'd be next on our list if you're available for reading out loud.
Sure.
All right. Let's do two paragraphs.
Okay. We often allow a sense of connection with my father. My mother knows how to draw him close. Sometimes he appears for a short time, and that is always wonderful. She has taught me how to do this also. Father tells me I can attune to him any time. So even though I do not always get to embrace him, I can feel his loving presence. Father is a mystery in many ways to me. Our relationship feels like a paradox. I feel extremely close to him and yet distant at the same time. I desire to heal my internal conflict and feel my father's presence all the time. I feel closer to my mother because I see much more of her. But even with her, there are times when she feels far away, even when her arm is around me. This used to bother me. My other mother, Miriam of Tiana, and my grandmother, Mary Anna, could feel my pain and confusion when I was quite young. They taught me how to go with my mother into the spirit planes instead of feeling badly that she was not fully present with me in the physical world. Great-grandmama, Anna, also taught me how to do this. Now, when Mama and I are sitting close, we fly together in our bodies of light. I can feel her love and her spirit. She helps me to know more about who I truly am.
Any comments, Rita?
Well, this is sure not your typical nuclear family. Just like, I'm just so touched by how lovingly this community of people worked with their children and how these evolved beings nurtured their kids to have these special connections. And it also struck me that, I was wondering what it would be like to be the child of Mary of Magdala and Yeshua. And in reading these two paragraphs, I was just realizing that, it doesn't matter. There's always issues with parents, right? There, there's struggles there, and for Shara, it was, wanting to feel more connected. Um, so maybe that's not always the issue that kids have with their parents, but in her case, it was that. So I'm just very touched by this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. It does seem to be universal that there feels to be a lack of connection with parents. And guess what? The grandmother connection, for me personally, filled that gap. And I think that's what we're hearing here too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting, these two paragraphs after Dominique shared about how present after transitioning they can be. Yeshua is present and when you call them. So, and let's see what might be underlined for people on these two paragraphs, and we can reread a few pieces. Anybody want to offer up something highlighted for you? All right, I have one. This seems to be true all the time. The first paragraph, she said in the middle, it says, Father tells me I can attune to him anytime. Isn't that true? Right? For all of us. Yeah. So even though I do not always get to embrace him, I can feel his loving presence. I know that's true for me. And I'm guessing it's true for everybody on this call. His presence is available. Yeah, anybody, anything else highlighted on those two paragraphs? Okay, here's another one. Our relationship feels like a paradox. I feel extremely close to him and yet distant at the same time. I desire I desire to heal my internal conflict and feel my father's presence all the time. Okay, that really I can relate to that. Okay, Charlotte, let's see.
I was gonna read on too, Thomas. I was like, well, doesn't that just all sum up how I feel? It's that veil of separation, right? And that moving into and out of that connection where as a human, we prefer what we can see. So like the next line, I feel closer to my mother because I see much more of her. Like we know what's tangible to us, but yeah, I mean, isn't that the desire to heal my internal conflict and feel my father's presence all the time, to be in that state more and more? Very relatable.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Charlotte. All right, Catherine Ann.
Through this, I'm just aware that, his children are sharing him with the world. I mean, it isn't just the nuclear family, it's not that he's just their father. He is the presence and the rabbi and the teacher for absolutely everyone. So they also have to deal with that as well. Not that it takes away from what he makes available to them, but it's very much includes everybody, not just them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're sharing their father and mother with the whole world.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. I wonder if Sar'h feels like he's so universal. What about me? Kind of thing, you know? Okay. Thank you, Catherine Ann. Let's go over to Glad.
I just thought I'd make a comment because I lived in a community with a master teacher, and the master teacher's daughter had a great deal of difficulty seeing her father in the same way that the rest of us saw him. She wanted him to be a father to her in a human way. And he was refusing to do that with her because he wanted her to see him in a completely different light, which she was having a great deal of difficulty doing. And so I can sense that, not quite as much with Sar'h. I think she's clearly got a little farther along than that, but the temptation is there, I think, for children of masters to be confused as to how to relate to their parents very clearly. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Glad. Yeah, it's difficult to be everything to everybody. Wow. Yeah, there's some other highlighted, and let's see if anyone else has something else highlighted to reread before I do again. But anything else highlighted in those two paragraphs? I'm going to reread then. It starts off, my other mother, okay, Miriam of Tiana. Isn't that interesting? This isn't like a divorce situation where they're not talking to each other. This is like they're all together, two mothers, same father. So her other mother, Miriam Tiana, and my grandmother, Mariana, could feel my pain and confusion when I was quite young. This is I think applicable to all of us right now. They taught me how to quote go with my mother into the spirit planes instead of feeling badly that she was not fully present with me in the physical world. Isn't that interesting, right? There's our choice to go or to be sad and victim, or we go into the truth. Wow. So they taught her and they're teaching us. This is the beauty of this work. Anna's training us to be able to do this ourselves. Any comments on those two paragraphs? Okay, let's go to the next reader then. That would be Glad. You might as well take it to the next Catherine Ann.
Okay. You want me to start with what is it like being with your father?
Yes, please.
Okay. And by the way, I'm having trouble hearing you again, Thomas. I don't know if anybody else is. But...
It true?
Yeah. Yeah, you were doing fine at the beginning, but not now. Anybody else?
Just when we thought we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I can put these earbuds on. You can tell me if that works any better, but
Okay. I don't know, maybe just me, but
No, he's not. I can barely hear him.
yeah. Okay. I'll let you put your
earbuds. Is that any better? Because
Yes.
the microphone's supposedly right here. Okay.
Yes. It's
Let's
much
try
better.
that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Catherine Ann, what is it like being with your father? Sar'h. Whenever he is here, he always takes me into his arms and makes sure that I know he loves me. We sit very, very still together. It is like when we gather around the lamp and look into the flame with a soft gaze. There is a stillness that deeply comforts me. I love it when he sings and plays one of the stringed instruments my mother brought with us from Bethany, or when he plays Uncle Noah's harp. Sometimes he surprises me with a visit when I am alone, walking slowly on one of the many paths, or while I am sitting in solitude at one of my favorite nature spots. Unless I really need him, he usually does not come with his physical body, especially when I am being insistent and selfish. He does not intervene. If in wisdom, it is better for me to work out a personal difficulty by myself. He is like this with Lisbeth too. The only difference seems to be that he is more playful with her. It is her nature to be playful, mine to be more contemplative. You want me to stop there?
Let's stop there and see if anything comes up.
Okay. I love the description of how she's speaking of the stillness, because she's communicating that stillness to me as I'm reading it. I can feel it and hopefully extend it as well. There is a stillness that deeply comforts me. We sit very, very still together. It's like when we gather around the lamp and look into the flame with a soft gaze. Beautiful.
Yeah. Now you read that with a lot of feeling, and I think we could all feel that. Thank you for really good reading. Yeah. Okay, Charlotte.
I'm so glad that he did come physically to them, because I think of my own children and their relationship with their dad, and I think kids, there's something so powerful about the way that they physically interact with each other. And I think of like when my babies were born, he was the first to hold them, and the way that they, with full conscious open eyes, stared into his eyes, and like my daughter, within hours of being born, her little hand like brushing his chin. I just think there's something so intimate and necessary about that physically being held, not just by your mother but by your father, that kids need.
Wow, Charlotte, that was amazing, bringing us to that moment. Thank you. Wow. That precious first moments of life and eye gazing. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. All right, glad.
Thank you, Charlotte, for saying that. I I sensed as you were speaking, and I sensed it in the reading as well, how beautifully balanced Yeshua is in both the masculine and feminine qualities and energy. That there is a nurturing energy that comes, and it's and is natural to an emotionally mature man who has balanced that in himself, and it is so beautiful without any reduction in the masculinity at all of that. And I think we're finding that true in ourselves as women too, that we too carry that balance. We're both the strong masculine and the strong nurturing aspect of the feminine.
Oh, thank you, glad. And back to Dominique, bringing this together for us, the masculine, the feminine. What a great symbol. So available. Wow. Thank you, glad. Okay, Jan.
One thing that I really liked is it points out how he treated the two children differently in accordance with their unique personalities. And I really did like that he was involved in them as who they were in their unique expression of source. And there was something else I was going to say. Oh, I was listening to I listen to the Galactics a lot, and one was talking about the divine feminine, feminine the other day and pointed out that an important part of the divine feminine, and I'm seeing it here with Yeshua, is knowing its timing. It's like when somebody gets pregnant, the child isn't created in a few seconds and pops out. There's 9 months. It's a process of growing and becoming, and that is part of the power of the divine feminine is in the timing. And that really struck me because I had never really looked at that aspect of the divine feminine. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, it's a divine process. Wow. Well, if there isn't any more comments, before we go to the next one, I want to ask Catherine Ann to unmute because the next thing we read says, "Tell me more about Lisbeth." So maybe Catherine Ann, you can tell us more about Lisbeth. What do you know?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Isn't it that who's the one that told you that you were another coming of Lisbeth?
Anna.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was referring to.
Before we even started this project, she had told me that I was Lisbeth. So that's why in the earlier chapter, I suggested to Claire, why don't we trade roles? I'll show you how to facilitate the session. And let's just see if anything comes out. Because I had already known, Anna had already told me before we even started that I was Lisbeth. So apparently it was important for me to understand that, and understand my role in this whole thing. So I wish I had more of a memory, They're bits and pieces, but I'm reading it just like you guys.
So you don't remember your older sister calling you a little imp? That's coming up next. That's why. It says the first sentence we're going to come to right now. I'll just read it. It says, "When she was little, I remember her as being something of a little imp." Isn't that like an older sister? And I have 2 daughters, man. They are just like that, mean to each other and stuff. So I was just wondering about your relationship to Sar'h as Lisbeth.
I'm sure we were like that. I mean, we were very loving, but I'm sure we were just like any sisters.
It's funny, Catherine, when we read about Lisbeth coming up, I can feel how you are more like her than say, her mother or Sar'h. So as we read, let's keep that in mind. If you have any comments, that'd be great. All right. So our next reading, I think it's Charlotte. Have you read yet, Charlotte? I think it's your turn.
I think it's Janet.
Okay, you already read that? Okay, so Janet.
No, but I think Janet was ahead of me.
Okay, let's do that then. Let's go ahead and give us a couple of paragraphs. Well, take it all the way to Catherine Ann again, please.
Okay.
All right.
Catherine Ann, tell me more about Lisbeth. Sar'h. When she was little, I remember her as being something of a little imp. Great-grandmama Anna also tells stories about father also being rather mischievous as a boy as well. Lisbeth loved being outdoors, singing little songs to herself and playing with her invisible friends. Then she grew into a lovely young lady. Now we share our love of nature, meditation practices, and learning about healing energies. As we get older, we find more about each other that we truly love. We comfort each other as we sometimes feel like orphan children who do not get to be with their parents. We help each other to open our hearts and not to be selfish and disgruntled. Although Mama Miriam's children, my half-brothers and sisters, Joseph, Simeon, Jude, and Miriam, are older than us, they were in their 20s when Miriam went to India. We know they miss their mother very much. They often spend time with us and our mother, Mary of Bethany. We always rejoice when Father comes. He always takes each of us aside so that we can share our heart with him in private. He is so loving and kind. He inspires us to be like him, though he remains a mystery to us in many ways. As we enter into our spiritual practices more deeply, we understand and appreciate our parents ever so much more. There are many orphans in our community's care. Their very real sorrows are so much greater than ours. Often they surprise and humble us with their ability to forgive, smile and laugh, and give so much love. They are wonderful teachers. I hope to do more for the orphans, homeless, and ailing beings when I am older, just as my mother, Aunt Martha, and Uncle Lazarus continue to do every chance they get. You can just really feel her heartache, can't you? Like, I just want some time with Dad, and he's got so much to do, and I just want my dad. I can imagine that's what it's like for your kids, Charlotte. It's just like, just want him. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and it's nice that they had a little bit of sister banter too. That's a bit sweet. I could imagine that with all those mothers and aunts in the community, it could be a little bit overwhelming expressing your true nature as a kid, if you wanted to be a little bit naughty or muck around, there'd be a lot of mothers watching and checking on you. Mind you, most of us these days ache to be in a community like that. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, doesn't
It
it
was a
seem
lovely
like
little passage to read, actually. Thank you.
yeah, it's true. Doesn't it seem like we do ache to have a community that operates together and real compatible? And yeah, thank you, Janet. And also Christy from Mount Carmel snuck in here. We want to say hi and welcome. Glad you're here. I just noticed you're here, so I wanted to say welcome. Any comments? Okay, good. Charlotte.
I think the line, as we enter into our spiritual practices more deeply, we understand and appreciate our parents ever so much more, is universal.
Yeah. Yeah. As we mature, right? We take them out of the bad guy position and they come into an appreciation like, oh, you did give me everything I needed. Yeah, thank you. And right above that, Charlotte, I have highlighted that he, referring to Yeshua, inspires us to be like him. I just thought that was clear and simple. Yeah, example life. I guess as I've read this whole bunch of times, now just reading it again, it says so they're talking about Miriam of Tiana and her kids, and they were they were in their 20s when Miriam went to India. We know they missed their mother very much. I guess I'm not sure what's going on there, Catherine Ann. Is she just in a different area, or did she pass, or do you know? You're muted. There you go.
You mean
Okay.
the kids missing Miriam of Tiana?
Yeah, I'm wondering what they might be referring to there.
The only thing I can think of is if she went to India, I mean, it's a long,
Mm.
I mean, it takes years,
Yeah.
their trip to India. I mean, they were probably
Okay.
gone for 7 years or something like that.
Okay, so Miriam of Tiana is in the presence of Sar'h and Lisbeth, but not in the presence of her own kids, which are probably still in India. Is that correct?
That's what I'm thinking, but
Okay,
I
okay, thank
can't
you.
tell you that for sure.
Well, no, that makes sense.
Mm.
Thank you. That sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, so it does sound like Sar'h and Lisbeth have Miriam of Tiana in their presence
Mhm.
as the other mother. Okay, let's go over to Janet Hayes, see what she has.
Um, it was interesting. Yesterday, I had calls. I was doing a little bit of study of the books for a call, and um, I had cause to go and look at Yeshua's descendants chart at the back of the book, page 381 in the version that I've got. And I noticed that the chart says that Yeshua had two children in the same year from different mums. So Miriam had Joseph, Miriam, and Johannes early, when she was in her very early 20s or late teens. And then Zaria, like 30 years later. And then Mary of Bethany had Zara and Lisbeth, but then 20 years later had Michelle. I'm assuming that's a female, Catherine Ann, not Michael, a male, because it says
We
it's
don't know.
likely she had children.
We don't know for
Pardon?
sure. We don't know for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
And Zariah and Michael or Mikkel, whatever, they were all the change of life babies that were conceived during the great gathering.
The
So
one in Scotland.
yeah, the one in Scotland. So
Yes,
all of them are
right.
basically into menopause, I mean, they're that old. So it was very unusual that these children were conceived at that time.
Mhm.
That's why
And
they're
there's a
so
little
many years older. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little footnote right next to Mikhail that says descendants unknown at this writing. It's likely she had children.
Oh, maybe it is
Yeah.
she. Okay.
All right. Uh-huh.
There wasn't
So
much
also it says
brought out
Sar'h.
about them.
Uh-huh.
There wasn't much brought out about
Uh-huh.
them at the time. So,
It also says Sar'h married Andrew and had
Mhm.
4 children, and Lisbeth married Simeon and had 3 children.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Janet, for bringing us to that page, 381.
I just think it's really interesting how um, it's like they all ended up in this Scotland in this great gathering, and that's when the children of light really, they just all knew that they needed to, you know, create and birth the children of light, which is what went across the planet. So yeah, because if you were somebody who was looking at dates and someone who was into the jealousy of the mothers, how come Yeshua's having babies with two different women at exactly the same time? It's like it can bring up issues of jealousy if that's what, if you still have that sort of stuff lingering.
Mhm.
I just noticed the dates and went, wow, okay, exactly the same time. Those mothers must have had a really quite incredible um, understanding of their bigger role, you know, because I was thinking earlier, when Charlotte was talking about her kids, and it's like we have to keep in context, I think, anyway, that we're talking when we're talking about kids, we're talking about humans, all right? But not all of these people are all pure human. There's a lot of extra being in it as well. because a pure human can't live for 600 years like Anna did. So you know what I'm saying? And so they must have really had their human side, but they also had their bigger spiritual side that would really have accepted the interplay of the families at that time and at that great gathering. What a place. I'd so love to have been there. Thank you.
You probably were. I'm really glad you brought up jealousy, because we've studied these books now and we saw how they detailed the jealousy that Miriam of Mount Carmel and Mary of Bethany, and they had to work it out. It's like they had a calling to work it out. And I appreciate that writing in these books, because jealousy is not an energy that should be accepted, right? They need to work through it, and they did work through it. So that's a great point, that they do have to work through that. I mean,
Yeah.
but it would be natural, right? It'd be human to have jealousy.
Yeah.
And yet they have to work through it.
I also think, I'm hoping I'm remembering it correctly, but all three of the Marys also became pregnant during the Great Gathering. But Miriam, just like earlier, didn't bring it to fruition. I think she had a miscarriage, but I think she also got pregnant. So all three Marys were impregnated by Yeshua at the Great Gathering, but she didn't bring her baby to term, which was the same as earlier in her life. She also didn't bring her pregnancy to term. So it was only Miriam of Tiana and Mary of Bethany that, gave birth.
So, Catherine Ann, you're saying at the Great Gathering, so it'd be a light conception then, right? It's not physical then. It's
Yeah,
past the resurrection.
I'm sure it's light conception. Yeah.
Wow.
But as I understand it, as I remember it, I'm hoping I'm right. I think all three of them got pregnant again. Because, then it would be singling out two out of the three. So I think all three, it's just they had their own experience, and Miriam just never seemed to have been able to bring any of her children to be able to be birthed.
Yeah.
And obviously there's some cosmic reason for all of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on over to Christina.
Yeah. A few weeks ago in the first Anna book, and during one of the readings, it talked about that the normal practice was to have a single wife husband relationship, and that the polygamy type of situation arose in response to a need for more like seeded offspring. And it would seem to me, as you're discussing the Great Gathering and everybody coming from that pregnant, however that worked, that would have been the kind of calling, and it was being Yeshua as having that incredible power within who he, that he would need to be able to procreate at that extreme rather than a single relationship. I'm going to grab that book and see if I can find the passage. But anyway, thank you.
we're pretty much out of time, but that is interesting. Well, I know Catherine Ann likes to refer to like a tipping point where the seeds for got to be a number that would change the age. Is that right, Catherine Ann?
Well, yeah, they had to have enough light conceptions that raised the frequency,
Mm-hmm.
and then with all of the descendants of not only Yeshua's children, but all of Anna's children. I mean, all of them that had light, they weren't the only ones that had light conception. There was a need to raise the frequency of all of these descendants so we could have it spread, which is the charts in the back of the book about the seeding of like Scotland and England and France and all of these places. They had these light conceived children then continue to have children and spread that seed of the higher frequency children. So that today, through all the crossbreeding of all of the lines, we can have the second coming, what they call the second coming of Christ, because it's done not only as a consciousness, it's literally seeded down to the physical level, because it's carried in all of these different dimensional, all of these different lines. So it's not one coming of Christ, it's in all, all that, crossbred. Yeah.
And that's what's enabling the shift of the age of the heart or whatever.
Right.
New dispensation.
And my understanding is that it allowed it to take place not just in consciousness, but all the way down to the physical DNA level.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Which is what the crossbreeding of all of these different lines was all about. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Catherine Ann.
Sure.
Let's go over to Glad and then Jan Dieter.
I just want to comment that there's a series of books. I just ended up reading them audibly driving back and forth from Jackson, from Kathleen McGowan, a series of books in which each one of the books is about what she calls the expected one, and those are come down from those lines of seeding that we're just talking about now. They all come down and they have specific stories in the medieval time, and particularly, and now into the present time. She works in the present and in the past, and it's kind of an interesting way she does it. But those are great books, and they're all about Mary Magdalene and finding Mary Magdalene's gospel, and then Yeshua's gospel itself, called the Book of Love. So if you want a good read, enjoy those books. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad. That's actually new to me. There's Yeshua's gospel is called the Book of Love. I think that might be new for me.
Whether it's, I mean, she's written them as novels, but you get the sense that a lot of this is channeled and from traditions that have been brought down through in France, and particularly in Scotland and England as well. So in Ireland.
So it's not like the Gospel of Mary that was found at Nag Hammadi, not like that.
Not that we have traditional historical knowledge of, but I sense that they are part of a tradition. And I don't know, I know Catherine Ann is aware of her, so she may be able to give a little more on that.
Title again? Sorry.
Well, there's 3 books. The first one is called The Expected One.
Okay, I'll start there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The Expected One. Okay. Let's go on over to Jan.
Catherine, I believe that you said at one point that there are actually 12 avatars that came in at the same time or about the same time, which would have been an amazing seeding for the whole world, because by the time everybody, all the different lines crossed, I think of what is the human that would be the result of that many avatars coming in at the same time, and then their seeds being planted all over the world. So, do I have that right, Catherine Ann, that there were 12 that came in at the same time?
Sorry, my mouse wasn't, I'm muting it. Yes, in the first On a Grandmother book, there's a footnote that said that besides Yeshua, there were 11 other avatars on the planet at the same time. So
for me, that begs the question, did each avatar have a special quality that each brought in?
I would guess so.
I would think so.
And we don't know who they are. I think a lot of
No.
them are probably in the Far East, you know.
Probably Native Americans. I mean,
Native American.
Africa. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure all over the world. Okay, thank you. I just find that fascinating.
But I think that was part of the cosmic plan to, you know, raise the frequency of Earth, because it wasn't going to respond. It wasn't going to happen unless they had this huge plan put into place to, you know, because I don't think this planet was ever meant to fall below fifth dimension. And when we got so dense that we fell into fifth dimension for whatever was going on, there had to be some way. It's like pulling us up by bootstraps, you know, that you raise yourself enough that you can get back on the fifth dimension and above. Yeah.
And it would need to be for the whole world, not just one area of the planet. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jan. Let's go over to Charlotte.
Just really briefly, because I know we're out of time, but that information comes through in the past life regressions in A Hypnotist Journey to Avalon as well, that the 12 don't necessarily come through, but the lineage of these lines comes through, and that in the point where we are in human history, these genetics have been so seeded and dispersed that as the earth shifts in frequency, these genetics come online, and in coming online, we have access and memories. And I just find that really fascinating, because it corroborates what you were saying, Catherine Ann, through other people's past life what are they called? Anyway, yeah.
That's always so cool when there's confirmation.
All right, so we are out of time. So Catherine Ann, this would be your time for our attunement.
Okay. So again, just go into your heart, into the portal that is your heart. And just acknowledge your part of being a seeded light being from these lineages, that you are part of these lineages, and that you are carrying the actual physical genetics and DNA from these beings, whether it's Yeshua and the Marys or other descendants of Anna, or any one of these other 12 or 11 avatars. You know, just acknowledge and welcome that part of you that is seeded. And just acknowledge and give gratitude to that part of you that is seeded and now is coming online for you to be more allowing of who you are as a midwife of the shift of consciousness. And like Anna has told us many times, that we've been rehearsing on the inner planes for eons for the roles we're stepping into. these are like the pieces coming together, understanding who you are, that you're part of this lineage of the Christed beings, of the light conceived beings, and that you have a right and responsibility that you came in to carry forth, to be part of guiding this ascension process for the planet and for the people on it, which is what we're doing in these book study groups. So we are, like I always say, the future selves of these Magdalenes and Holy Family members and Essenes, now opening up to our parts. So just give gratitude to the lineages, gratitude to all of Anna and Yeshua and the Marys and all the characters, and gratitude that we are included and part of this giant cosmic plan. So be it.
Thank you, Catherine Ann.
Mhm.
It's funny, I get to think of myself as a midwife. That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's no gender. Yeah, I'm a
No.
midwife. Excellent. Wow, what a powerful night. Thank you. Oh, especially Dominique for bringing your mother's visitation. And
Mhm.
that was powerful. Everyone's share was so powerful. Thank you so much. I'll be on the road all of August, but I'm going to try like crazy to make every single meeting. But if not, you have Glad and you have Catherine Ann going to be here. So I love you so much.
Yeah. And thanks for taking over last week. There was no way I was going to pay $32 a day to have Wi-Fi.
Okay.
No.
Well, maybe you'll share about your trip after we close out. People
Sure.
that want to stay after you had a cruise ship. And
Yeah.
I don't even know about it. So
Okay.
we'll let everybody go, but whoever wants to stay, there'll be some chat going on.
Okay. Sure.
All right. See you, Sharon and Christy. Good to see your faces.